My name is Dr. Darlene Rossetti, and I'm the DuPage County Regional Superintendent of Schools. And welcome to DuPage Engaged. It is a show about people who make a difference in our county. No nation, no state, no government can do everything for the people. It really is the people that step up to the plate to assist in protecting themselves, to assist in making their communities, their county, their state, their government a better place. So I just want to say welcome again to another great show, and I am very excited here today that we do have with us Ralph Hinkle. And Ralph, you are the Executive Director of Citizen Corps Council of Milton Township.
Yes.
And I invited you to come today, one, because April, there always seems to be lots of bad weather and things happening in April. And certainly we just saw a huge tragedy in Rochelle and in Kirkland, Ashton, and of course in Fairdale, where just demolished those towns, very small towns, as well. And so, it was very important for me to have someone like you on to talk about what do community members do? What can be done so that we ourselves as citizens can better protect ourselves and help our neighbors, God forbid, if we were ever to have some type of a tragedy or whatever. So can you talk to us a little bit about your role?
The simple answer for that is to volunteer. And there are numerous ways to volunteer to prepare your community for a disaster like that, and CERT is one of them. Mm-hmm. Milton Township excels in that. We've been doing it a long time, and that is a perfect example of what happened a couple of weeks ago at Fairdale. If that happened in DuPage County, any one of our cities or the unincorporated areas, it would have been a true disaster simply because of the volume of people it would have affected.
So can you tell me what CERT stands for?
Sure. CERT is an acronym for Community Emergency Response Team.
Okay. How long have you been with CERTs?
Some say too long. We're starting our 12th year of training.
Okay, very good. So tell me a little bit more what CERTs does.
Sure. CERT, first of all, gets its chain of command, its authority, its direction from FEMA, from the federal government and Homeland Security. It's under the auspices of Citizen Corps. The easiest way for me to explain that would be, you've heard of Peace Corps. Mm-hmm. I think all of our viewers would know something about Peace Corps, external of the United States, volunteers helping people. These are programs under Citizen Corps that are within the United States. Things like Neighborhood Watch, Medical Reserve, and CERT is one of those programs. It's a national program, it has a national curriculum, and if you're CERT trained, first responders know what you can do or what you're trained to do anywhere in the country.
So tell me a little bit about the training. So just talk to me about the training,
Sure.
What's involved with it. Can anybody be involved with this, with volunteering?
I think I had other conversations with you, and one of the perceptions is, what exactly are we going to do and what are we going to learn? And I always ask a graduating class, did we meet those expectations? Mm-hmm. And they always say, well, you exceeded it, but it's different than we thought. A misconception. CERT is not only for the athletic or the trained in disaster relief, or I was in the Army and I was in a medical reserve or something like that. CERT is for everybody. We have people that have special needs on our team. We have people that are in their 80s that are on our team. Whatever people need when they don't have it, food, clothing, shelter, medications, and the arrangements for those, you need volunteers. First responders are going to be overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So I would say CERT is for everybody. Okay. Don't get the misconception that you don't know anything and you have no skills. We have a Down syndrome young lady on our class. She went through the training with her mother, and I have been not criticized, but I've been questioned. Why would we spend some taxpayer dollars and some time and effort to train people? And I said, gee, who else would need that training more? Mm-hmm. This young lady and people like her, special needs people, they need to be trained what to do during a disaster. They're not going to be running into burning buildings, but they're going to see the people with the green hats, they're going to follow the direction, and they're not going to be scared because they know somebody knows something about what to do next in a disaster.
Well, that's awesome.
It
so
is.
it empowers individuals as well, too.
It really does.
So would you say this is an accurate, statement? So not only does it help me as an individual, if I'm, my family, I'm better prepared to, to protect my own family, but also too, if I, and again, heaven forbid that something should happen somewhere, I can also go and volunteer my time to assist.
Absolutely. It's kind of been a pet peeve of mine. Our Citizen Corps chairman is the supervisor for Milton Township, Chris Idorn, and he always says to the graduating class, if we never see you again after you graduate from CERT training, we feel good knowing that there's people living in DuPage County that have been trained. But if you have the opportunity, we would like for you to show up when you're called. Mm-hmm. So two important key things about the training. Number one, you'd never self-activate. You will not find people at Fairdale from CERT teams unless they were asked to be out there. So. And number two, what you said, you can activate yourself, put on your uniform and help your own home, your own neighborhood, your own situation, especially if you're isolated mm-hmm. and you don't know what to do and you haven't heard what's going on. You can start working immediately.
So, I work in the school system.
I do.
And we really want to protect our children. That's one of our number one goals, is making sure that our children and staff are certainly protected, during a time of, again, some tragedy. So school individuals, who from a school district could volunteer or get involved in this?
Well, going back to the CERT is for everyone, we have a lot of people taking CERT with their high school age children. If you're 14 to 18, you can take the training. You must have permission or your parent with you. And if there's a real disaster, your parent would be the one that would activate you. We're not going to call you until you're 18. But there's even a specialized program, if a school would want to have it, called Campus CERT for kids. Mm-hmm. And that could go down as low as, the grammar school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I wouldn't go much earlier than that.
Do you tailor the program to the younger students?
Yeah, Campus CERT is different. Yes, yeah.
Okay, Where do you host the training?
Boy, training has come a long way. I was in the back room of the township in 203, 204 with our first class of 12 people. We are now in the Homeland Security Building and Education Center at the College of DuPage. They are one of our partners. They provide us the best facilities in the state for that kind of training. And when you walk into that building, it humbles you to see that girder coming from 9/11. It kind of sets the tone. Even when we break bread there and have some pizza or some refreshments, I remind people this is kind of a sacred place. It's a special place. They have a police academy there, a fire academy there, and it's loaded with people that are dedicated to serve the public during disaster and needs. And so that's the attitude we like to have.
I love your passion. Could you briefly just say why you got involved, Ralph? Why was this important to you?
Well, number one, I was retired early. I was 49 when I sold my businesses, and I spent 4 or 5 years consulting. I think that's a familiar theme for people. And my wife was involved in township government. And the township supervisor, still is, Chris Idorn, came up to me one day and said, would you be willing to help us get this program started? I can't pay you much, but I'd like to get it started. And now having 6 grandchildren and seeing that decision 12 years ago, it was the right decision to make.
Thank you, thank you. Well, we're going to be right back and talk more with Ralph Hinkle. We're very excited. He brought some interesting little items. We're going to talk a little about that, a little bit more about the training, and a little bit more about opportunities for you as well. So thank you, and we'll be right back.
How do you feel about your commute these days? A little crabby? You can change that pretty easily. Just take Pace and feel happy as a clam. The savings will be a big change too. Travel in a more relaxing Pace.
A picture-perfect lawn may look harmless, but its effects can be a real horror show. Rain washes fertilizer, bug and weed killers off your lawn, down ditches and drains, and into our rivers, where they can be toxic to wildlife and pollute our water. So cut back on lawn chemicals. Mow higher, leave the clippings, and enjoy a beautiful, healthy, safer lawn.
Hi, welcome back to DuPage Engaged. And today we are talking to the Executive Director of the Citizen Corps Council. Very pleased to have you here today, Ralph. We've been talking about, keeping ourselves safe in this county and how we can help others in case of a disaster as well. You've brought with you some interesting items, and I do want to talk to you a little bit more about the training. You'd said there's some excellent quality training that folks can step up to the plate and be trained in. It happens at the College of DuPage, which has just an excellent site as well too, for the training. So I'd like to know a little bit more about specifically, so I want to go, and I found some dates that worked for me, and so what am I going to be trained in, and what is all this stuff about?
Sure. Well, first of all, the training cannot be taken online. You cannot be certified in CERT because half of the training is hands-on in the classroom, lectures, so forth, and half of it's outside. And if you're going to be involved in homeland security or in rescue or any kind of volunteer work, personal safety is the #1 issue. You're useless if you get hurt. You become part of the problem. So we provide personal safety gear. That's the primary reason for our backpack, hard hat. We have a safety vest in there, goggles, gloves. But then you go on the offense also with your equipment. And we do have a fanny pack with some mild medical equipment. We are trained 2 nights of our training, of the 7 nights total, is geared toward medical. And we're involved in saving a life. If it's we don't do tracheotomies, deliver babies and things like that. We're worried about whether you're breathing, whether you're going to bleed to death, or whether you're going to go into shock. So our job is to mitigate those kinds of damages in a disaster until we can get the real people there that can actually sustain those people and pull them through. But the equipment, this is an unusual part of our training, I think. People say, well, what does all this cost? You have 7 nights of training, 21 hours total. You have a $100 backpack. We feed people in the classroom. Our cost to the person taking the training is nothing.
Wow.
And that's because we've worked just as hard at putting together a group of partnerships that support us financially and make this thing sustainable. That's why we've lasted 12 years. Let me go back to the curriculum, though, because I know that's your area of expertise. People should know that Ralph Hinkle and Darlene and other people connected with CERT, my boss, we don't have anything to do on the training end of it. We facilitate the class, we provide the area, we're there, we do the check-in, we do everything that is needed. But we have a wonderful group of volunteers that are first responders. Now, I ask you, what would your doctor, or what would your fire chief, or what would your police chief, or what would your highway commissioner charge on an hourly basis for their services? Well, these guys and these gals charge us nothing. And they show up for their 3-hour night session, or maybe their part's 45 minutes. And we have fire chiefs, police chiefs, highway commissioners. We have the vice president of Walgreens that comes in and talks to us about disaster psychology. What do you do? What's going through your mind? What's going through the victim's mind? What's going through the victim's family mind? We've got the coroner going to be involved in our training. How do you deal with death? What do you do with the body? That's an important thing when he could be overwhelmed with 12 people in a disaster. It's another important thing that people don't realize. We probably have 4,000 or 5,000 first responders in DuPage County. We have how many people that live here? 1 million people. So what does it take before they're overwhelmed? I think a Fairdale or anything like that would quickly overwhelm them. So it's very professionally taught, high quality. I think we give the best equipment of any team I've ever seen. And most people customize their equipment. And they, for instance, the ladies, we tell them, give your husbands the gloves we give you because they probably won't fit. Get yourself a nice pair of leather gloves.
No, very good, very interesting. So you work with a lot of experts, lots of skilled folks as well.
Yeah.
You also mentioned partners.
Yes, very
And so it
important.
sounds like you've got a lot of partners, but the financial partners for this,
Sure.
tell us a little bit more. So how is it funded?
Well, people say it's free. Well, who pays for it?
Somebody pays for it.
Up until 2012, Illinois Emergency Management, through their annual FEMA grant, FEMA has a budget. They divide it between the, not 57, but the 50 states. and that's where a lot of the funding came from. Probably half of our funding up through 2012 came from Illinois Emergency Management. And as many mandated programs, or it's not mandated, you have to take it, but the funding was there, they kind of end and they dry up. We haven't had a big disaster like 9/11. So for the last now it's the third year, I said, well, are we going to just have Milton Township CERT training and kind of reduce our profile and live within our little township of 100,000 people? When we, if we get hit with a tornado, we're all going to be tied up in the tornado. I want people from Bloomingdale Township and Addison Township and all the other 8 townships that surround Milton Township. So I have been working with the other 9 townships, and we have all but one. And my goal this year is to complete that cycle. And so we have 8 townships on board, and we simply take my operational budget and we divide it between the 8 or 9 or 10 of us or whoever it is, and that's how we operate. And my budget has remained the same for the last 6 years.
That's excellent.
We haven't increased it because of efficiencies. And I think that's where we're headed in DuPage, and I think in the state of Illinois is, if you look at the example of fire districts and fire departments in DuPage County, they have a thing called mutual aid, MABUS. And we had a fire in Wheaton the other day. When a fire happens, they meet and they need more help. Fire departments are independently paid and independently operated, but they come together and share equipment. They'll share divers, they'll share extricators, they'll share ladder trucks. Well, that's what we're doing with our townships. Each township is providing funding. Some townships have speakers, teachers, fire districts in their townships that can help us, and it's making it much more efficient.
I love that, and isn't that what we want? We want county government and local, township government to be efficient, to be that shared service, so where we can do this better together. And I so commend you for all of this work, and I'm so glad you're on this. I'm so glad you're on this show, because I cannot think of any more important work in this county, than just to make sure that, each and every one of our citizens feels safe in the county. They know what needs to happen, and how they can actually participate, in that as well. Have you had any, give me a more recent opportunity where you've actually had to kick in, and how many volunteers do you have currently?
Well, we have about 1,150 active members.
Good.
And that's from somebody sitting at the desk checking you in, to some of our people. I could have an event every week and they would be there. They are really gung-ho.
Good.
Let me just say one other thing. CERT training is for life. And if you get trained and you get certified and you get a backpack, that's fine. You're not going to forget everything. But it's just as important as initially making the decision to do this, to stay active. We ask our members to participate in a training, a teaching, and a public outreach event at least once a year. And we have some unbelievable training events that are with the Metro Rail, live Metro Rail train. And we have a homeless count we just did in January. We have flagger training, IDOT flagger training. I could go on and on. I know the time is short.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you. We're going to take another break again and wrap things up. But thank you very much for being here, Ralph. Greatly appreciate it.
Dear Mom, I don't know how to start saying something like this. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have gone to the party. I've entered a world I don't want to be a part of. I'm in hell, Mom. A nightmare. and I need you to help me. I'm so afraid it's too late. Everything spiraled out of control. I want to be your little girl again. I love you, Mom, and I don't know where to turn.
Dear baby girl, I wish I could have helped you. You would have never done anything, ever, for me to hate you. I just wish I could hold you in my arms and tell you it's all going to be okay, that we can just go back to the way it was. I love you, and I'd do anything to hold you in my arms one more time. Love, your Mom.
Welcome back again to DuPage Engaged, and we are talking to the Executive Director of the Citizen Court Council, and we're talking a lot about the Certified Emergency Management Response Team, and you've been very informative. I just would like to ask you again, just to reinforce, how would one get involved? Who can get involved, you know, in this as well?
Sure, it's getting involved is a big part of our reason for being here, and it's a big hurdle for me to overcome. How do we get this message out to people? Yeah. CERT is for everybody. We have a website, miltontownship.net, and there is an application there. There are photographs of our history there. There's a calendar there of events. So I think everybody at nauseam gets referred to a website, but it's a good way to get all the information to you. I think I want to say to people today, June 4th is our next class at College of DuPage. It's a Thursday night. It's coming up. You know, we have probably 40 people committed to that class, and this may sound strange, but we are just as effective and probably more effective if we can put 70 people in that class as opposed to 40, because the expense and the cost all go down per person when we do that. So if you're even thinking today about what I can do this summer, if you're a student or a teacher and you have free time in the summer, or you have, as you had recommended earlier, a student, one of your children, or couple, you might want to do it with your spouse or your significant other. This is a fun thing to do. It will change your life. You will always think about the training that you had. People refer when you go into a theater or a restaurant and you go, gee, if something happened, where would I go? Yeah. And that's the kind of mindset that this class and this training gives you. So I would say help your community and do something. Everybody should do something if they're, God gives them the ability and the talent to do it. But this is an excellent way to do it.
Excellent, very good. You know, and I can't think, and there's so many opportunities in DuPage County to get involved, to get engaged. But to me, there's nothing more important than just the safety of our families, our communities, our schools, our churches, hospitals. And I just want to thank you, Ralph, for, you know, for your volunteering. You're certainly an inspiration to us all about getting involved in what we can do at any point in our life. And it's certainly very empowering as well. So thank you very much. And you know what, we're going to spread the word, and we're going to get out there and do some better marketing for you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.